So if you want an improved lead quality, you might need to be looking at where you are finding your potential prospects and your leads in their particular journey. Let me explain what I mean. So years back, I learned a concept, and it was mostly to do with sales, but I'm going to apply it to marketing here in a second. But the concept was, it was something I learned from a marketer named Travis Sago, who's brilliant. Like, you listen to the guy and you're like, oh yeah, this makes so much sense. But anyways, he's comparing the sales process to golfing. And I don't know golfing. I'm not a golfer. I think the last time I golfed, I was 18 years old or something like that. It's been a long time. I don't know much about golfing. So forgive me here as I'm going to say some stuff wrong. But anyways, he talks about, like, and it's kind of a duh moment, but sometimes the most intense aha moments are like duh. But he talks about in the sales process, what would you rather do if you were a golfer and you're trying to get, the least amount of strokes to get your ball in the hole? Would you want to start back at I don't know what it's called, at the tee? Would you want to start at the tee on a par 5 and it takes you 5, 6, 7 strokes or shots to get the ball in the cup? Or would you rather just start on the green and it's 1 or 2 putts away from getting the ball into the hole? And it's obvious, like, yeah, if what I'm caring about is getting the ball in the hole, yeah, let me start from the green and let me 1 or 2 putt it. And he talks, in his sales process, he talks about tapping. That really what we're trying to do is get people really close to the hole, and then that's where we enter the conversation with them, and we're just tapping them in. So like I say, he's mostly talking about the sales process, but let me apply that to the marketing process. Because in the marketing process, there's a million ways to do lead generation, right? But there's a couple ways that you'll often see. And one is kind of the more broad approach. The broad approach being, you put out a white paper, you put out an ebook, you put out a free tool, a free calculator, some sort of thing that goes broad, right? It speaks to people that have a problem. They might not have even recognized they have a problem yet. They might have recognized the problem, but they haven't thought of doing anything with it. Or they might be like really close to a buying decision. So in the grand scheme of things, putting out this lead magnet or this, like I say, the white paper or the ebook or something like that is the equivalent of finding people all along that hole, right? From the tee to the fairway to the sand trap to the water hazard to the, look at me pulling out terms that I don't really know how to use, to the green. Like, when you do that type of lead generation, you're going to find people all along the way, right? Whereas what would a different version of that be? A different version of that might be what we would call like a call funnel, right? A call funnel is advertising and marketing that says, hey, you have this problem, we have a solution, let's talk. Let's get on a call, let's get into a demo, let's get into an evaluation, whatever the case might be, right? So there's pluses and minuses with both of these, right? If we're doing like a call funnel, we are finding people closer to the hole, right? They are already there. They recognize their problem. They're looking for a solution, and they're ready to get on like a phone call or into a demo or something like that. So they're closer to the hole, right? And so the downside of that is our market that we're trying to find of those people are much less. It's much less people that have done all the internal work to arrive at a point to where they're like, shoot, I need help and I need this type of help. Let me go searching for that. And so our market's smaller, and as a result, our lead cost is higher. Which, like I say, if you've got a good funnel and you've got a good process, this works, right? Now, on the flip side, if you're doing the white paper, if you're doing the ebook, if you're doing the lead magnet type thing, our market suddenly got much more large, because now all we're trying to do is find the people to where the problem that we're talking about somewhat resonates. And they're like, yeah, actually. And like I say, we're going to find people closer to the hole or further away from the hole. But in having a much larger market, our lead quantity can go up dramatically, and our lead cost can go down dramatically. Because, like I say, any time that you restrict the size of the market that you're marketing to, your lead cost is going to go up, because it's going to be harder and harder to find that particular customer avatar, that particular ideal customer profile. So this is one of the reasons why I love the workshop model, and why I'm working on proving it out further and further and further, because I feel like we can get, and what I've seen in the workshops that I've done is we can get the best of both worlds. Because with the workshop model, the workshop itself is far more valuable in the mind of the prospect than a white paper or a mortgage calculator or whatever, right? Like, it's much more valuable, like, to come out and spend some time. And it speaks to a much broader problem, whatever it is that you're advertising for, whatever your product is. And so we can go broad, meaning we can get that lead cost down. But in getting people to spend an hour with us, 2 hours with us at that workshop, we can dramatically reduce the amount of time it takes to, instead of weeks of nurture sequences and weeks of like trying to figure it out, we can get them in a room and we can spend an hour or two. And in spending that much time with somebody, you can pre-qualify them, answer questions, resolve doubts, do so much in that period of time that you can take 10, 20, 30, 40 plus people from the tee all the way to the hole, all the way to the green in that short period of time. And so this is what I've seen with workshops. This is what I'm continuing to document on this channel and prove out that thesis. Is that the right term? To prove out that theory and to see like, hey, can we do this with industry after industry after industry to where we can find the best of both worlds, low lead cost, high intent, and broader market that we can talk to.